Janko. Yet another impromptu video where I want to take you through my current state of systematical prompts that work for me. Make sure you do not break existing code and so on, which I formalized then, or kind of like I synthesized it to this initial prompt to start off a agent conversation. Once you have your game plans with the stages, the distinct stages, you can use the proceed with next stage blueprint or template, where you basically say, go on with the next stage, check that you don't break existing code, make sure your proposed changes actually work after you implemented them. And after each stage, give me a git commit message so I can do my git commit and version control outside of the chat functionality. Then there's another template, the root cause analysis and fix template, where you ask it to do a step-by-step root cause analysis, synthesize all the stuff that needs to happen with the reasoning in a fixed game plan. Important is also this line. Always choose the most straightforward implementation, be laser focused, be surgical in what you do. And then one template that just entered the picture in this video is the fix linter error thing. It's kind of like a variation of the root cause analysis for like a generic fix for certain linter fixes that usually have to do with interfaces of packages that you're using. For example, SQLite as SQL model or Pydantic or whatever you like, crucial core components might have changed, and we're forcing a web search with this web query and nudging the model to specifically reason about interface changes between the client implementations of the Python packages. That's basically what's happening here. Hey, what's up? This is Janko. Yet another impromptu video where I want to take you through my current state of systematical prompts. I actually also started the Hitchhiker's Guide to the GenAI coding galaxy. I might get sued for this. Maybe just changing around galaxy for universe will do the trick. Let's see. So I started with a little scratch pad, and it has basically 3 prompt categories that work quite well for me. An initial agent prompt, a prompt where I ask the agent to proceed after we developed a game plan, which is laid out in stages, and after each stage I can do git commits, and thus this seems to work quite well for actually structuring the work and giving me a chance to actually catch up on and thinking about persisting code changes to Git to have version control. And then there's a root cause analysis and fix prompt whenever we run into a problem where I want the agent to step through the problem in a systematic manner. That seems to work quite well for me. So those are the 3 first prompt categories, and I'll just take you through coding with those prompt categories in an actual project that I'm trying to fix a little. Let's make this maybe a little bigger so it's more legible in videos. So I need to check where I actually am. Right, so it's asking me, the agent is asking me, would you like to proceed with stage number 2? Let's see which game plan we're talking about. It's a fixed game plan. So we run into an issue and we just completed the first stage, and now we starting with stage 2. So what I would do is to go into the proceed with next stage prompt category, basically. It's still a bit manual copy and pasting, obviously, but you can think of it like prompt templates. I think that would probably be the best description. And obviously what I always need to change, because this is generalized, is the actual game plan fix ID. Sometimes cursor seems to not be able to reference unless you jump at the very end of the prompt window and then reference the game plan with the fix, and then I would just copy that up there. So yes, it's a bit tedious still, but at least it's consistent. My prompts are consistent because I'm using basically templates. At the end, I'm always asking to the agent to give me a concise but detailed, or detailed but concise commit message, and off we go. So we are at this task here. Task 2.1, fix contact person creation logic. So we have a bug in our like repository logic. The repository will write to the DB using SQL models and doing Pydantic model checking, or validation checking through Pydantic. And there's just some flaw in it. And it's really nice if you use the prompt template. It works quite well for me because I'm asking the agent to step through each problem in a systematic manner that's consistent. So always asking for safety validation and verification plan. And let's see what we actually changing about. It's kind of hard to read through it while thinking about like shooting a video at the same time, but I'll manage. Automatic pattern, create contacts, create relationships, lazy loading, link if needed, current safety mechanism. So this is just a comment. Let's maybe minimize this. Right, so we're changing the verification of relationships basically. And we had issues with doing stuff in an asynchronous manner. Right, so this was the fix. Then we are at the repository level. That's what I just talked about. SQL model, really awesome package. I love it. I always like to scroll through my code files and not jump to it using the UI goodies basically. So we link to job. We are changing that. This is something I don't like, but let's do it this way. That's also a hack I need to do because otherwise I cannot do it. I cannot go in here and say I want to keep this, but comment it out maybe. I need to first reject it, the proposal, this very proposal. Then wait until flush. Sorry, I want to make sure I comment out the exact right portion of the part. And then, and then I go in here and copy the actual thing. Now I destroyed the insert statement that we had up here. Sorry, demonstration effect. This seems to be an issue that the most recent stuff or the API, the interface of SQL model changed. Come on. So we need to make sure, what's the best way of, like this, to actually capture the linter message and to make sure that we actually don't forget that. I had good results with using somewhat of an XML notation to kind of bound certain content into like a logical container, if you will. For example, here linter message, and right, so everything else is just related to the game plan. Sure. let's see. Don't have a coding template for this yet. Let me just think if I can repurpose one. Let's do another one maybe. And this is called fix linter errors. It's kind of like a fix, but a very specific fix. I don't think, well, maybe we do. I made really great progress or had great results with actually using game plans throughout. Make sure you also add reasoning. And this is a really specific or typical problem. We have linter errors that are most likely related to changes in interfaces of certain packages. The thing that would be cool is to kind of have a generic mechanism to have the agent do a web search for the most recent docs, given the specific package or problem or issue at hand. It's probably hard to do that, so I need to figure out or think of a way of how to do that in like a semi-automated manner. Research the most recent or find and read through the most recent developer docs on this issue, and then there would be a web and then whatever query. That's the semi-automated part. Then maybe that's a good moment to read through one of the prompt templates at least. Always choose the most straightforward implementation option. I had really great results with that specific ask of the model. Just choose not the most complicated one, but the most straightforward one, right? And then this is also like a small thing that adds a little bit of precision, be surgical and laser focused, right? And the other, those two paragraphs are really crucial and provide a good value for me. I'm asking it to make absolutely sure that it's not breaking code, and this is not enough for me. I want the model to verify this by explicitly reason about this and presenting the reasoning also in the chat, which is actually quite, as I said, led to quite good results. Then I double check basically by asking the model to reconsider if the code base after the changes, there's a typo in it, actually, we got that typo up here as well. Oh, sorry. Actually works by double checking explicitly for logical flaws or whatever. It's kind of like forcing the model to do test time reasoning or test time inference, if you will. Like that's what all the models that are all the rage right now, or that are the hype models like O1, O3, DeepSeek R1, and so on, have already baked into their model setup, at least as far as I understand. I'm basically doing the poor man's reasoning here by forcing the model to read through the own output, reason about the output first, reason about the code explicitly, and so on. It's not perfect, obviously, but it actually does the job quite well. So I took the linter message, and then I would say just do a web search with the error message here. I'm not sure if that works. Maybe we should take out line breaks and emojis, and yeah, we're good to go. We don't have a game plan referenced. Do step by step. Necessary change to the task and game plan. Linter SQL model. I'm asking it to create the game plan if it doesn't exist. So let's see how well this works. It's kind of like a new prompt template that we just created on the fly. And obviously this is a bit overkill. You need to decide that on a case by case, in a case by case manner, probably, if you really want to create specific game plans for each and every little issue that you want the model to fix. But better safe than sorry, especially if it's a mature code base like this project is, that you prioritize the risk of breaking code over letting the model or being faster, right? In your fixes. That's basically what I'm doing. So it researched based on analysis, the game plan. Let's see, it's quite involved, as you can see. So a bit overkill, probably. So I need to tweak that. The section stage systematically fix the issue while ensuring safety and backward compatibility. That's good. This is the whole reason I'm doing this, to force the model to always consider backward compatibility, and breaking changes and minimizing the breaking changes, obviously. Deprecating session execute in favor of session exec. That's something I actually should remember as a human. So, right? If you followed me a little bit, you know that I'm not a fundamentalist when it comes to GenAI assisted coding. There's still stuff that the human needs to do, and it rightfully so, because you shouldn't just delegate everything to the AI, right? You should always strive to become a better coder by understanding the code without any help. The AI just helps me in that, and obviously it takes time. Sometimes I admit to taking shortcuts, but I try to be as systematic as possible in taking those shortcuts, which is basically why I'm coming up with this whole code templating thing. So safety consideration, no breaking changes. Implementation approach, focus on repository layer fixes, addresses database implementation. So those are actually two different stages. Most likely, I'm not sure if it all happens in the repository file or in another file, but stages are always good because it gives you a chance to commit the changes and then roll back either within the chat or via doing a git revert or git reset. Each stage, yep. Right, and now it asks me, should I start with stage 1? So we go to the stage here. Again, copying this, obviously, which is a bit annoying, is the game plan referencing thing. It would probably, let's try a little tweak. I might carry that over to the template or not. Make sure you stick to the game plan, to the referenced, and we just reference it by, oh, this also doesn't work. It seems like whenever you copy something into this chat window, that you cannot really, within the text, you cannot do the referencing for some reason. Should probably write a ticket about this to Cursor. All right, so off we go. So we basically should jump in here and make exec, change execute to exec, however that's pronounced. Safety analysis here again. Only uses internally. Transaction boundaries maintained. Base repository already uses session exec consistently, so no breaking changes. That's basically what it's saying. Okay, it's deleting the previous thing here. I do the same hack than before. I reject this one because I want to actually keep this, yet I obviously do want to have the exec thing changed. There's no other change here, so we can proceed. The linter game plan is updated. I'll do a little shortcut here because that's just the game plan. And there is one previous thing. I think we just forgot to accept that. And now we have the commit message. So what I would do now is to not just hope for the best, but to actually wait, what is happening here? I accidentally entered a REPL to actually commit to Git as well, and not just rely on being able to jump back to previous milestones basically through the chat functionality. So I would do a git status just to be sure. We got the game plan, we got the repository and the advert service. And yeah, so we add all. And then I forgot if I copied the commit message already. We just copy that, do the little, however that's called, POSIX or what is that, Vim style thing of write quit. So WQ and off we go. See the git log or do the git log command and see the exact commit message. Right, so after that I'll let it continue with stage 2. Then what I usually do is once I referenced everything correctly, so this is a bit too narrow for me, for my the typical way I code. So sorry about that. And I just go in here. The game plan is still referenced. I don't like the fact that it's actually displaying, but here it's still referenced, so I can run the exact same prompt for the next stage. It asks me, do you want to continue with the next stage? The prompt is generalized, proceed with the next stage, please. So it will do stage 2, and stage 2 is in the linter thing, so we are here. I should also tweak to use other emojis to kind of like the checkbox thing to clearly or more clearly denote visually which tasks are already completed. But it's doing the SQLite safety analysis or implementation analysis, return the same types, returns the same result as execute, and thus we should be good to go. We change it here. Perfect. Perfect. So this is not an error and not a big issue, but it's a deprecation warning that I personally take serious, because if you don't, then you might risk your code base being outdated, because the pre-training is kind of like outdated. It becomes more outdated by each month, obviously. So let's see, what do we have here? Now let's update the Postgres implementation. Yeah, perfect. Found it here as well. So good job in doing a consistent code analysis to find all the, possibly not all the spots, but at least some spots already where this change was necessary. We update our linter game plan, perfect. And we have the commit message, which we copy. I exit here to git status and a git commit. All stages of the game plan have finished. Awesome. So what I would do now is actually copy the same prompt. As I said, this is a bit tedious, but not as tedious as writing it and like anew in each new prompt, but just copy and pasting. I actually want to reference a different game plan now, though, because we were actually dealing with the fix game plan. Next stage in the fix game plan, please. Because the SQL model exec linter thing was just kind of like an intersected issue, which we dealt with. And I haven't figured out the perfect balance in how to allow for those like detours, because you need to fix some issues while actually wanting to implement a feature or fix a larger bug, and then have the model realize that we kind of enter or revert back to the main track of what we want to accomplish, right? And for me, having dedicated game plans for fixes and the main thing, or like the little detour stuff, the interjected stuff, actually work quite well. So let's see, where are we? This is the prompt. Looking at the game plan, I can see that all stages have already completed. So the database implementation, query double session exec, database layer. Yeah, I'm not sure if, let's see. Let's bring that up. Safety checks. Oh, yeah, it's not referencing the right game plan, but it is correct in that in the other game plan we are already done, right? So good job. And now I need to check things. It's kind of hard to keep track now where we are. That's what my human brain usually struggles, staying on top of all the things in order to guide the AI and then know what I want to do as a human actually in this whole game. And I think what I want to do is to start the Streamlit app and check things manually. So we call Streamlit run. We are in a source-based layout, so I mentioned that in another video of mine if you're interested, and then it's main.py. And we have our little, I need to probably pause the video right now because I don't want to, no, I just need to make sure that I edit out this. No, that's too risky. Let's pause this here. And we resume. So I have a little login screen. Obviously, I don't want to share the login credentials. And let's just see what happens if we use the API that this tool is actually built for. Let's do some random job title. We want to persist to the database. And we have good news, paradoxically, because before it reported, the UI reported that everything succeeded when it didn't. So the unique constraints. So we have still some issues with how the database is actually set up and normalized with its various basically relationships. There's lots of stuff happening. I'm sure this can be and should be optimized, but we're not dealing with this right now. I'll just copy the entire thing, reference that, and we are back to our fixing prompt template, if you will. And we say create a game plan of fix, and I currently, just because I'm lazy and haven't come up with a better mechanism, I just use the date as a ID. And maybe we can clean up a little by moving the game plans that we already covered to the archive. It's also a new, not a hack, but just to have good housekeeping rules to basically move stuff into the archive when we're done, basically, with a certain game plan result or goal. And what's the impact analysis or the root cause analysis? A unique constraint. So it identified the right database repository and method, double insertion attempt. We need to obviously check why this is happening. Exists in this method to persist to the database, and the impact analysis, contact person, creation of job listing, no data corruption, error handling needs improvement, transaction integrity maintained. So this is a tougher one, or a fix that is more high risk. So let's see, update link creation logic, prevent duplicate link creation. Yes, that's good. Existence check before insert. Perfect. Yep. And then improve error handling. Sure. Always good. And that's basically the entire thing. So that's the thing, be surgical and laser focused. I like that. It seems straightforward to me, so I would ask it to proceed. And let's do it, switch it around a little. I actually, this is the right one. I reference it before and I do a little iteration 1 of not referencing the actual code file or the actual markdown file in the prompt, but to say here, make sure you stick to the referenced, some German coming in with the Z, reference game plan, right, and the rest can stay the same. So off we go with this prompt template. So it now analyzes the current implementation, current behavior, direct insert attempts, transaction handling uses session flush, which is good, error handling none. Okay, propagate errors, proposed change, and obviously I need to eyeball it. Maybe I should ask in the prompt to actually give me the gist of the change, but we have a result. We actually check if the link already exists in this part, and let's do it in the file actually. Integrity error, okay, sounds good. Let's find the, okay, now I give up. It wants to delete the thing that we had before again, which is fine. Oh, sorry, no, this was, I misread that, I think. But be it as it may, what enters the picture is this explicit link check, and then we try to create a new link. Otherwise, we have an integrity, we throw an integrity error, and that's it. I'm fine with that. Let's mark this section as completed. Let's actually commit stuff to Git. Let's double check what we actually changed. This looks all good. Commit message, write quit, and off we go. All the tasks, blah, blah, blah. Would you like me to proceed with any additional verification or testing? We only had one task. Great. So I'll cut it short at this, or I finish at this stage, because I actually need to jump to another call that I'm having. I hope that I could get across the main gist of what we're doing here. Well, first of all, it's the start of the Hitchhiker's Guide, so let's celebrate and hope we don't get sued, or I don't get sued. Douglas Adams, if you're watching this, I don't know, I hope you're fine with this. It's just an homage to your awesome work. What we are starting to do is to step up our systematical prompt game. That's probably not the right way to frame it, but you catch my drift, I guess. To have actually templates, blueprints, however you want to call them, for stuff that repeatedly happens when you code with AI. It always starts off with initial prompting. So maybe to show you that once, for how I started this conversation is right. So I started not completely with the prompt, because the initial prompt actually came a bit after that, but that's usually how I start out with, and you see that I did use a couple of things that are also part of the prompt template, or make sure you do not break existing code and so on, which I formalized then, or kind of like I synthesized it to this initial prompt to start off a agent conversation. Then once you have your game plans with the stages, the distinct stages, you can use the proceed with next stage blueprint or template, where you basically say go on with the next stage. Check that you don't break existing code. Make sure your proposed changes actually work after you implemented them, and after each stage, give me a git commit message, so I can do my git commit and version control outside of the chat functionality. And then there's another template, the root cause analysis and fix template, where you ask it to do a step-by-step root cause analysis, synthesize all the stuff that needs to happen with the reasoning in a fixed game plan, and then basically do the same thing. Important is also this line: always choose the most straightforward implementation, be laser focused, be surgical in what you do. And then one template that just entered the picture in this video is the fix linter error thing. It's kind of like a variation of the root cause analysis for like a generic fix for certain linter fixes that usually have to do with interfaces of packages that you're using. For example, SQLite SQL model, or Pydantic, or whatever you like. Crucial core components might have changed between the time of pre-training, which I don't know where the current knowledge cutoff is. It's probably around, I don't know, end of 2023, hopefully, for coding stuff at least. And we're forcing a web search with this web query, and nudging the model to specifically reason about interface changes between the client implementations of the Python packages. That's basically what's happening here. Right, hope this finds you well, that you can that it helps a little bit with your coding endeavors and getting the most out of Gen AI assisted coding. Reach out if you have any questions. Drop me a comment, drop me a like, hit like and subscribe. I'm not very good with the the post thing here with the YouTube channel. I'm getting better at this. Nevertheless, or be it as it may, I hope this was useful to you and hope to catch you in the next one. Peace. Bye.